Ever been slapped by a word? Not a fist, not a blow, but a simple no. Rejection, brother. It's the silent punch many men dread. But what if I told you that every no is a stepping stone to a stronger, more resilient you? Dive deep with me as we unravel the art of turning rejection into your most potent weapon. Brother, have you ever pondered about the end? When our time on this earth concludes, legend says we meet two versions of ourselves. The man we became and the man we could have become. The one whose dreams were realized because he wasn't paralyzed by fear. Now, imagine the weight of standing face to face with the version of you who took every chance, who wasn't afraid of a mere no, who lived life to its fullest potential. How would that make you feel? The cycle of avoidance isn't just about the present. It's about the legacy you leave behind. Every time you let fear dictate your choices, you drift further from the man you could become. Not just in love or friendships, but in business, in life. The mind, it's a powerful tool, but it can also be your poison. Avoiding rejection might seem like a short-term relief, but it breeds long-term demons like depression and anxiety. These aren't just words, brother. They're chains that can bind a man's spirit, making him a shadow of his potential. And the longer you let this fear fester, think of that moment. The moment when you meet the best version of yourself. Because, brother, the real danger isn't in hearing no. It's in never giving life a chance to say yes. Let's learn how to do this. Technique number 1. Reframing rejection. Let me share with you a secret. Every no you hear, every door that closes, it's not a mark of your worth. It's a lesson, a guidepost. Rejection? It's not a failure. It's feedback. Think about it. Every great man you admire, every titan of industry, every legend in the books, they've faced rejection. But what sets them apart? Their perspective. Consider Thomas Edison. He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the power of perspective, my friend. It's not about the fall, it's about the rise, the comeback. It's about taking that no and asking, how can I improve? I've met men who've been turned down for jobs, for dates, for opportunities. But the ones who stand tall, they're the ones who see rejection as a roadmap, not a roadblock. They understand that every no is a step closer to yes. So, the next time you face rejection, don't let it weigh you down. Instead, see it as a chance to grow, to refine, to become the best version of yourself. Because, brother, rejection isn't the end. It's just the beginning of a journey towards success. Technique number 2. Visualization. Our minds are powerful tools, often more potent than we give them credit for. Ever heard of athletes visualizing their victories before the actual event? It's not just some feel-good mantra, brother. It's a technique rooted in science. Visualization is about painting a picture in your mind, seeing the success before it happens, and feeling the emotions tied to that success. Imagine walking into a room, shoulders back, head held high, exuding confidence. You're about to pitch an idea, or maybe you're approaching someone you admire. Before you even take that step, Visualize the best outcome. Feel the handshake. Hear the words of affirmation. Sense the mutual respect. This mental rehearsal doesn't just prepare you for success. It prepares you for rejection. By running through various scenarios, you're mentally cushioning the blow, reducing its sting. But here's the magic. When you visualize positive outcomes consistently, your mind starts believing in them. It boosts your confidence, reduces anxiety, and sets you on a path where you're not paralyzed by the fear of rejection. Because, brother, when you've already lived through the experience in your mind, the real world doesn't seem that intimidating anymore. Technique number 3. Self-compassion. Let me lay down a truth that might surprise you. The harshest critic you'll ever face is the one staring back at you in the mirror. Men like us, we're wired to be tough, to push through adversity. But when rejection hits, it's not the external voices that do the most damage. It's your own. That's when self-compassion steps in. You see, self-compassion isn't about coddling or lying to oneself. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer to a brother in distress. Studies have shown that men who practice self-compassion bounce back faster from setbacks, and they're less likely to spiral into depression or anxiety. It's like the armor for the soul, shielding you from self-inflicted wounds of self-doubt. So, how do you practice this? Start by recognizing your inner critic. When it speaks, challenge it. Remind yourself of your worth, your achievements, and the times you've overcome. Every morning, look in the mirror and affirm your value as a man. And when you stumble, instead of beating yourself up, ask, what would I tell a brother in my shoes? Because at the end of the day, the journey to becoming a stronger man begins with showing kindness to oneself. Technique number 4. Exposure therapy. Have you ever heard the saying, face your fears and they'll become your strengths? It's more than just a motivational quote. It's a battle-tested strategy. Enter exposure therapy. Think of it like this. If you're afraid of the cold, you don't overcome it by staying indoors. You step out, feel the chill, and over time, you adapt. Similarly, if the fear of rejection has its claws in you, the solution isn't to hide away. It's to face it, head on, again and again, until that fear loses its grip. Now, let's dive deeper into the story of the man who took on the challenge of the 30 presentations in 30 days. Initially, his fear was rooted in the unknown, the unpredictable reactions of the audience, the possibility of forgetting his lines, or the fear of being judged. But as he exposed himself to these situations repeatedly, something profound happened. With each presentation, he began to recognize patterns, which jokes got laughs, which points resonated, and where he needed to adjust. He also started to understand that mistakes weren't fatal. They were just part of the learning process. By the 15th presentation, his brain began to rewire. The once terrifying stage became a familiar territory. The audience's faces, once a sea of judgment, now appeared curious and engaged. His fear was replaced by a newfound confidence, not because the risk of failure was gone, but because he had trained his mind to see failure as a stepping stone, not a dead end. Here's your action step, brother. Deliberately put yourself in situations where rejection is a possibility. With each attempt, you'll not only desensitize yourself to the fear, but also reframe it as a growth opportunity. Remember, it's through facing our fears that we truly become strong men. And finally, technique number 5, mindfulness and meditation. Brother, have you ever found yourself lost in a whirlwind of what-ifs and should-haves? It's a treacherous place where the fear of rejection thrives. But there's a way out, a path that leads to clarity and strength. Mindfulness and meditation. Now, let's break it down. Mindfulness is about staying present, about anchoring yourself in the here and now. It's not about ignoring the past or future. It's about not letting them steal your current moment. Imagine you're about to approach someone you admire. Instead of drowning in anxiety and potential rejection, mindfulness teaches you to focus on the present interaction, to truly listen and engage. Consider this. A study conducted at Harvard University found that individuals who practiced meditation for just 8 weeks showed increased activity in the brain regions associated with focus and decision-making. More impressively, these individuals were more willing to take calculated risks and showcased a significant boost in their overall productivity. The power of meditation isn't just in calming the mind, but in sharpening it, making it more resilient to the challenges of life, including the fear of rejection. Now, the action for you, brother. Start with just 2 minutes of meditation daily. Focus on your breath, and when your mind wanders, gently bring it back. As you practice, you'll find your emotional resilience strengthening, making you less susceptible to the fear of rejection. Brothers, remember, every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger. Don't let fear hold you back. Embrace these techniques, level up, and face the world with newfound confidence. And if you're hungry for more ways to rise as a man, check out this video here.